The Mopar Strut Tower Brace that we have here today will be a great factory engineered option for all 2011 and newer Challenger owners looking to help tighten up the front end and improve handling. Now this brace will feature a high quality MIG-Welded steel construction that has been finished off in a bright silver powder coat, all for the low $400 price point. Install, according to the site, is going to get a very soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and take a couple of hours at absolute most to complete from start to finish. But if you guys hang with me for a bit, we'll walk you through that job later in the video. Strut tower braces such as this option from Mopar are very popular with enthusiasts because they're typically pretty affordable, relatively easy to install, and do make a subtle impact to both your handling and your underhood appearance. Now, before we do go any further, guys, I want to mention that this brace will fit both the 5.7 and the 6.4 Hemis, but will not fit factory supercharged cars or cars with shaker hoods, so just keep that in mind. So the idea of adding a strut tower brace such as this is to help reduce strut tower flex by obviously bracing them together and ultimately reducing front end roll and increasing your overall chassis rigidity. Now I will say, in the spectrum of parts that can really make a noticeable impact to handling, sure, the strut tower brace will be on that list, but I would certainly rank things like sway bars and tires a little bit higher than the brace itself. But like most things in the automotive aftermarket world, improving handling performance is really the sum of a lot of parts, and the brace will certainly be a contribution in a positive way. Now, helping to reduce that front end flex in this case will be the fact that the Mopar option is built like an absolute tank. I mean, you're looking at heavy duty, thick walled steel build along with that full MIG welded construction. And I really like how Mopar has added this additional bracing at the mounting plate to further help reduce unwanted flex. Now finally, guys, the bar will feature that very sharp silver powder coat along with the Mopar logo riveted in place front and center. Now that leads me to my second benefit, and that is underhood appearance. Now sure, adding something like this is definitely going to be a functional modification first, but you can't help but notice the improved underhood appearance with the bar in place. It really does pop under the hood. Now, if you were interested in reducing the flex even further, you could always check out the Mopar option for the rear. They do make a rear strut tower brace, which you can also find here on the site. But now let's shift gears and talk about the install. And guys, this is gonna be a 100% bolt-on job that requires no permanent modification. But to give you a better idea of just how things will go down, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
The tools used for this install are a ratchet, 13mm socket, 7/32 Allen, 9/16 wrench, 13mm wrench, a 3/8 drill bit, and a drill. So for this install, we are going to be working under the hood of our Challenger. There's only a few simple hand tools you'll need to get this job done, and there is a little bit of drilling required, but I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to get this product installed properly. First things first, I'm going to start by removing my engine cover. This is just held down with some rubber tabs, and then I'll set this aside, and this is going to give me the room I need to drill my holes in the back behind the engine. Next, I'm going to take my 13mm socket on my ratchet, and I'm going to remove the 3 top strut nuts on the top of the strut towers. This is where this strut tower brace is actually going to bolt down. I'm going to set these aside because I am going to reuse them later. And I'll do that on the other side as well. Now that I have everything unbolted, I'm ready to sit my new strut tower brace into place over top of my strut towers. I'm just going to line up the holes for the strut tops with the holes in the plates. Sit that into place here. Might be a good idea just to get a couple of the nuts started to snug it down just a little bit, and then I'm actually going to use this part as my drill template to drill these 2 holes here on the back of the cowl with a 3/8 drill bit. So I have a rag here sitting on top of my intake manifold, and that's just basically to catch any of the metal shavings that are going to fall down from when I make this hole that I have to drill into the cowl area. So I'm going to take my 3/8 drill bit, and I'm going to use this hole as my drill guide, and I have to drill through 2 layers of steel. It's basically a box tube that I have to drill through, and I'm just going to make one here in this hole and another one on this other hole on the strut tower brace. So I've loosened up the nuts that I used to hold down the strut tower brace while I drilled my holes, and I did that just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room here on the strut tower brace. Now I needed that wiggle room because I have to fish this bolt through the hole in the strut tower brace as well as through the cowl, but on the back of the strut tower brace, between the brace and the cowl, I need to install this washer. I'll need to install another washer just like it on the back of that hole where the bolt comes out. So I'll slide this up into place, try to eyeball it. And then I'll fish the bolt through all the way out to the other side. And then I can take my washer and slide it on and then install the provided nut. I'm going to do that for both holes and then I can go back and tighten it down. Now that I have my 2 upper strut tower brace bolts installed through my cowl, I can go ahead and start all of the nuts for the upper strut mounts that secure the strut tower brace to the strut towers. I'm going to do this on both sides, and then once I've done that, I'll go back with a 13mm wrench or socket and tighten those up. Because of these edges on the strut tower brace, I'm going to use my 13mm ratcheting wrench to tighten up the hardware for the upper struts. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now I can take my 9/16 wrench and a 7/32 Allen socket and I can tighten up the hardware through the cowl for the strut tower brace. And I'll repeat that for both bolts. Finally, we can reinstall our engine cover. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Mopar front strut tower brace fitting your 2011 and newer 5.7 and 6.4 liter Hemi Challengers. Thanks for watching, and for all things Challenger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.